But you're not one of them.
No. Must make this stop there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I agree. Since they help me job off the old city job. Hey, Gary? Yes, sir.
Do you have the information on how much money we spent on our litter grant so far? What we got left?
Oh, gosh, me and Julie just talked about, I can go ahead and no, but I'll go ask you.
Julie threw it on you.
Huh?
Julie threw it on you. I asked.
Oh, she threw it on me?
Now, I know I signed the 3 checks, almost 800 pieces.
Yeah. We shouldn't have a lot on it. I'm thinking under 10,000 left. We still gotta finish
You can do
supplies.
it this week.
Because
I mean,
we
you got
got
it there?
bags,
You did.
really, really bad. We.
Frank, make it.
Well, Julie said she would order it. They want you to figure out there.
I told Zach I was burning up that A&M stuff on the computer.
Did you get
Because
that?
technically, I don't need that
I
until
go in the office, I turn it on. and I
April
say, "Oh,
15th, and so I don't keep it
Can you get me a,
running bigger.
what we got left?
I need to call, I'm doing it, I just
We're gonna be sending it back here.
Says I only got 8 hours and I got
This is around
certificates
June,
for like.
July, we got to send it back.
Brady can help you.
It runs to the end of the year, right?
Yes, but
I got the
We get
certificates
the-
for like maybe.
finish paying for January for anything that I have done.
Right. We still get, if you log on there this week, I think there's another 8 available this week, and there's some next week, but the 15th is the cutoff, what they're calling the cutoff to get fired.
Well, it doesn't matter as long as you get it within the next 4 years, huh?
No, so you're still, if you get,
September 11th,
finish
and
all
not
your
the
hours,
12th.
then
So
they
you don't have to-
and that puts you.
I said there was a-
Yeah,
I got the date on the 12th, there was a meeting
It
that
goes
day.
up, I think that's one of the facts.
I thought it said I had 80 at the end of next year. it won't be
It's a special.
No, because you can only get credit for 40 per year, so.
You get 40 per year,
Yeah.
and you get, it starts at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah, you get an extra 1,000 here, so even, so not if it's 40 next year, it'll be 1,000, but if I get my 40, I'll be at 2,000.
And you can only carry over, you can carry over 40. Like if you would get 80 this year, you get paid for 40 in February, and then you would have to take classes next year if you got 40 to carry over.
But the good thing is, like, once you max out that 4,000, it's 4. It's like, if you get reelected, and you start your next term, you start at 4, and you just keep getting 4 every year.
The only
That's
reason,
where Jim gets all his money.
We just send you a check once a year.
Well, as soon as you get it done,
We send you a check.
Doug cuts you a check.
you'll get your check first week of February.
I got my check in my truck right now.
Or how'd you get it, because you hadn't finished the year yet?
Well, I've already finished my house. And they sent a letter saying about 40 hours to go for this
They
year.
already paid it?
Yeah.
Really? You got yours? No, I usually get it February, first week in February.
No.
Well, they told me as soon as they send the letter out, as soon as you get your hours, they will send the letter. So they got the letter, like last week on mine, and
Well, they should have, like mine, you know, I carried 40 yards over every year.
so maybe yours is carried over, so it's like in a different batch.
Do your hours carry over like this year, if I get that 30, do you start with 30?
No, it's only everything over 40.
But like if you got 30 this year, he'll start January, I guess, with 0, right?
You got it, like 30 hours.
Yeah,
But if you had 50, 20 will carry over, or 10 will
10
carry
will
over.
carry over, yeah. The one carries over after.
If you fail to get your honors in a given year, you start back over at 0.
Right, that's why it's important to maintain.
Have you got yours in?
Have you all heard anything from
Now you
Dan?
got left.
Hey, John, you want to call him?
Well,
I like
just did.
28 hours,
Just
but the
did.
internet only shows 8.
I called him, he didn't answer, and I sent him a text, so anyway, we'll go ahead and get started since it's after 1, a little after 1. Call meeting order, welcome everyone today to a special call meeting at Spencer County Fiscal Court. Madam Secretary, if you would, call the roll, please.
Squire Stump,
Here.
Squire Ferris, Squire Eldridge,
Here.
Judge Travis,
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Cotton,
Here.
All right, everyone's here except Dan. I entertain a motion to excuse Dan.
Motion, to excuse Dan.
Second. All right, have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to excuse Squire Ferris. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Mike, could you open in a word of prayer and then we'll say the pledge?
Lord, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the much needed rain. And Lord, we just ask that you be with us in this county and that we make sound decisions that be pleasing in your sight. And Lord, if we had a traffic accident yesterday that claimed the lives of a couple of people, we just ask you to be with their families and give them comfort and understanding in this time of need. And Lord, be with everybody through the Christmas season and everything we do. That we just hope that we bring glory and honor to your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
If you would join me in salute to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I got me some Dayquil and NyQuil today, Tim. I got the same thing you got.
Run right down my throat.
And
About to work here.
my Fiscal card covers it. So, anyway,
You gotta get that cough lesson down, Bart. Your federal card.
I ain't tried.
Okay.
But anyway, first on the agenda is the garbage contract. I invited Chris with Rumpke. Now, I'd like to, come up and we can discuss our options. And if we do agree to what he presents to us today, I'm guessing we'll need to rescind our motion, Corey, where we voted to rebid it. Would we need to vote to rescind that? Yeah.
I was running through.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What we discussed Monday, yeah.
Yeah, I know we moved to rebid it, and then if they have something different, we can move to rescind it and accept this project.
Has it publicly been put out for bid yet?
Well, we put it out the other time.
We talked about it since we had made the motion, but
I mean, this Spencer Mag don't work that fast.
I didn't think so. Okay, so.
But anyway, we're facing a deadline here at the end of the year, and I did some, Karen did the digging that I told you guys about other carriers, and it doesn't look that other carriers are much of an option. So I kind of felt some urgency to go ahead and get him back to the table and talking to us. So, but anyway, he knows it. So,
Leave, personally.
yes. But anyway, Chris, if you would go ahead and present what we got now, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. Brought two options that you can look at. One is we did come back with a lower rate on the 3-year term, and I will pass that one to you. I'll give a copy of both options to you.
Oh, I was just gonna pass it around.
I only brought, yeah,
We
they
can
can pass
share
that
it.
one around. But I'll say it, I'll speak what we have on it. One was the 3-year, it brought down, the first year rate to $22.90. Then in the second year it'd be $24.77, and then in the third year would be at the $26.67. And so we'll pass that one around, so everyone can see it. That would be a 3-year.
What we had in our packet, right?
Well, that's what we was hoping we could get. Originally, the bid was 24 something the first year.
It was $24.90 in the first year, and I think it was $25.77, I think, in the second year.
And then the 26 in the third year.
Was
And
the
then-
same, is that correct?
Was the same, yes, sir.
Yeah, and then, but what he's saying today is they could go, instead of the 25 or the 24 the first year, it'd be down to the 22.
22.90, 24.77, and 26.67.
Yes.
Yes.
And what's that fuel surcharge look like there?
$3, what it is today in Central County.
So, well, basically, now is that if it's, as long as it's $3 or more, you'll charge it? If it
Yes.
goes down to $2.90, you'll
We'll
cut
take
it
it
off?
completely off, yes.
And I know originally I had hoped we could get $3.50, but, so it's $3.
Yeah, one thing, and some things I didn't go into in our discussion last time I was here is, another thing that hit us on top, what affected our pricing was, and it was on us, but all these years that we've been served in Spencer County, the franchise fee that we paid we never factored it into our performance whenever we were looking at our costs, because it was coming out of our corporate office, which, as you know, is a 10% franchise, 10% that comes off of that. So that was another thing that, that we were facing when we had to change our rates. But, yeah, forgot where I was going with that, but I did want to explain that was one of the things that, affected the rate. One thing on the fuel surcharges, well, it's well above it right now. Even if it was $3.50, it'd still be on right now, but because we took off $2 on that first year, something happened that did fall off, that we would be underneath as far as on our costs. So it's just something that, even though it only sounds like 50 cents, it is a difference. And so it was something that we couldn't do, but we were able to come down. We did come down $2 on that, where really it's not where we're profitable, but looking over the term and just trying to come to an agreement that negotiates with the county, and then it was just working on that. So that was the one option that I passed around. The other one was that we spoke about doing a 1 year if it was more time, if you did want to do something that was a rebid or something and just have more time. Then we put that option as an addendum, and I actually went ahead and added that. That was the regular bid rate in that first year that we bid. And on the second page of that option, I went ahead and put option renewals on that. So basically, those pricings were just what we had originally bid. So if you wanted to, go that route and it was just a 1 year, then we were able to extend that as just an extension. But that would just go to the first year bid rate. And it would be, when we bid that, it was actually the fuel grid just remained on. Also, I should mention, knowing that it's subscription billing, they have to calculate that. Basically, it wouldn't be a monthly, it'd be quarterly. That would be looked upon as far as, being under, and then it's taken off. And it'd be off quarterly, too, and if it went back up, but just because it's billed quarterly.
I assume if we do this 3-year deal and y'all get your 40% or whatever, you're gonna go on and start the recycling portion of that?
Yeah, we can start. We'll get some things, basically, I'll get with my PR department, because we'll need to look at kind of a plan and maybe doing some type of mailer, or, just, there's different programs.
Seek interest.
Right, and just kind of see, who'll be on board. So that was one thing I was going to mention today, if we wanted to start it right away, or if we should look at maybe in the second quarter of really kind of launch the program, because, either way on the options, the residents are going to have an increase in costs. So I don't know if it's, should we go ahead and start it right at that time, or should we wait and have this implement, at the first of the year, and then come maybe in April or something like that, and then launch that program. But we would do either one.
Yeah, now basically, going back to the recycling, y'all remember in the original bid, I think, was it 12 something
Yes.
a month was the added cost?
Yes.
So I mean, you're looking at $36 a quarter to add that recycling, but again, 40% of customers have to do it. And I mean, if we only reach 39, then it wouldn't happen, 39%.
Yeah, well, and also too, with doing that, if we do the full 3-year term, as far as our investment kind of going in, we'll start it and we'll get things going, try to ramp it up pretty quickly and run it for, whether it's 6, 9 months, maybe 12 months, just to see if we can get it to, that 40%, just to be able to pay for the cost of a truck and driver coming out to service it.
The question I have on this is your fuel surcharge, is it going to remain 8%? Is that correct? I think it was in the original contract at 8%.
Oh, it varies.
It goes up every dollar.
So
it's going to vary.
It
It
varies.
does right now.
It does now, but it's small. We have it's the grid, and it goes off the DOE, Department of Energy. And, so we do have that grid that we could send to you.
Yeah, like right now, it's 17% or something, right?
I think it's 22%.
I think at $4 a gallon, it was 17%.
$4 or 17.
We don't have that grid with us, but
Yeah, I didn't bring it with
You know,
me either.
the only problem I've got with the fuel charge, well, not the only problem, the problem I have is with it, you're charging our customers for all your fuel. It's never gonna go below $3, we know that, reality, okay? If that fuel charge was at $4.50, it would be more, that would be fair. Because go up there on top of the hill and look at the price of diesel fuel at pump, $3.67, okay? It's never gonna go below $3, it's won't. So you're using that grid as a reason to charge each customer 15, 17, 18% every month. So you're not paying for any of your fuel. It used to be where, when it met a certain level, you would charge it then, when it was fluctuating. But now it's like, it's a given. Everybody pays for the fuel, regardless. You know, and I'd like that fuel charge to be set at somewhere around $4.50 before you start charging the percentage.
And certainly, it's something that, it could be done, but it would change the rate, though. Our base rate would have to change if we did that. And so, it might be something that we would have to look at like the next renewal time, whether we just did a year just to extend, or if we did 3 years, and then looking at that as far as what the county wants to see.
Either way, it's gonna be the same, they're gonna pay the same amount of money, just whether or not the customer has a fuel surcharge on their bill. The rate's either gonna catch it, or the fuel surcharge is gonna catch it.
The numbers will be changed to where the part is the same.
And still as a business, they're going to want to still meet a certain margin. The fuel surcharge does allow for the possibility that, fuel has went down, and that there's been times where we weren't charging that fuel fee. So, it could happen, but what it just lets it know is us as a business too, knowing the volatility of it, and that as it goes up and down, that then we can make the base rate lower, knowing that can adjust. But we could certainly look at something. I think it would be good, at this point, to try to look at it, in the future if you want it built in. We could even build it totally in where there wasn't, fuel surcharge. But we feel that it's better to have it on there because it does allow for incrementally to go down or up.
If you didn't have the fuel surcharge, you'd be walking in here with a per month fee that would be 20% higher, pretty much.
Yeah, it basically would still reflect that
Right.
amount. It's a rate that's
Well, I don't really necessarily have an issue with that. I think that, you shouldn't have a fluctuating rate. I think you should set it in 10% because the fuel surcharge, and that would be it. That's how I would run my fuel surcharge on the trucks that I run.
You talking about instead of like bumping it up every year?
Yeah, well, if you set it at one price, you know where it is. Our customers know where it is. Your customers per se, our constituents would know what it is. They're not trying to figure it out. They're not trying to figure out why last month it was $3 cheaper, this month it's $4 higher. It's built in, it's the same thing, it's in the contract, saying your fuel surcharge is never going to exceed over 10%.
And that's something that,
I know it's something that you can't specify right now, but
yeah.
it's going to stop all the issues that we're having with our constituents, with your customers. You're wondering why one month to this month is cheaper, lower, cheaper, lower, cheaper, lower. It's all going to kind of hang itself out. And at the same aspect, I understand that you all got to make a profit, you all are in the business, I understand that, but at some point throughout all of this, you're going to have to take a little bit of the cost off it. Fuel is what fuel is, and you're all in the business of running trucks. Same way with what I do, I run dump trucks.
I wish I could charge 20%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't do that. I wouldn't have no business.
I think we all agree, to Jim's point, that, everyone understands back when diesel fuel got over $5, that y'all had to have relief somewhere.
Yeah.
But now that it's not $5 and you're still trying to take the relief, it's hard for us to swallow.
Exactly.
I think that was good.
So,
I think that's well stated.
but, so anyway, that's a concern we have with that whole grid. you know, exactly, and to Zach's, when you started charging the surcharge at $1.85, we know it ain't never gonna be $1.85, maybe it will, but odds are it's not. But anyhow, but again, I understand business, and if your rate is the $22 and whatever, and because you get the fuel surcharge, you only have to charge $22, I get that. You'd be charging $26 if you didn't get the surcharge. So, but, you know, I just want, you know, number one, I want us to continue to have the garbage service in this county, and we're less than, it's like 18 days to Christmas, and then it's 1 week to New Year's, and there'll be a whole bunch of junk after Christmas that needs to be cleaned up, and I don't want it laying all over our roads. So that's why I thought kind of an urgency to get something worked out. But basically, I was looking at what you brought us here today. I didn't see the $22 price on this page.
It's on this, there's two, yeah, there's.
Oh, okay.
That was, if you did the 1 year, that was
Okay.
the 1 year option renewal, and then that was the 3.
Okay.
And I would say too, you know, I know that everything's kind of coming quick to the end of, you know, this agreement, and we bid it this way, but knowing everyone's, hearing the feedback as far as fuel surcharge, I would say that, you know, next time, if, you know, we have, you know, a little more time to prepare, whether it's renewal or if it's a bid, that knowing that the county, you know, we don't want to see a fuel surcharge, then that's something we can certainly structure that way next time around, you know, and do that.
You know, again, you know, I've dealt with you for several years now, and not putting you down or anything, but, you know, we talked about recycling 2 years ago, and through your emails to me or whatever, yeah, we're gonna get on it, yeah, we're putting a plan together, nothing ever happened, nothing, for 2 years, the last quarter. And now you're saying, well, what are you looking at?
I'm listening.
But now you're saying, well, we don't have enough time to do this, we can talk about the future next time, it's always down the road, you know, let's deal with this now. And I agree with what Zach's saying. Can you come back with us at $22.90 plus 10% fuel charge, period, for each year?
I couldn't come in this meeting, I'm not able to change that, but on answer the recycling, I was saying here today, we're ready to start it at the first of the year, we'll start it. I was more saying that if you want to start it in the second quarter, just because everyone's gonna have adjustment to their base rate. So I was just, and the concerns of that, because I know that it's higher than the normal CPIs we've done in the past and things. So I was just mentioning that as an option, if it felt a little better to launch this new program that is exciting because people want it, but not hitting them at the same time that their base rate is going up. But we're willing to do both, and my PR department's ready. We'll start it first of the year. In the past, when it was last bid or last time we did renewal or bid, we did submit, you know, a program at that time, and then we were told to hold off on it. And then when we were re-looking at it, we were kind of re-looking at it in the middle of the contract, and then too during some of the COVID times and stuff too, it was just kind of shaky to start because, you know, we were bumping up our employees to make sure that we're servicing everything that we had, you know, and having employees and staffing was, you know, coming very slim. But no, we're ready to go on that as far as first of the year if you want to start.
Would you all agree to see if he could go back to his people and see if he could do what Zach, and I agree with, just add a straight 10% on the fuel charge for each one of these years, and see if you can do that? And that way, everybody's bill is the same every month. That's what the customers want.
Yes.
They don't want that fluctuation.
Ain't
And
gonna do it 10%.
have a straight 10%, you know, for fuel charge.
We wouldn't be able to do it at this point. We're getting so close, like being subscription billing, this billing is supposed to go out like next week, or they're supposed to prepare to get it out. Try to go back into negotiate it. Those were the only two options that I had at this moment. I know that we could accomplish it, but I mean, right now I know that basically it's gonna be the same, because then, now, that's how we're doing it now, but if we change it, then it's gonna make that base rate, the base rate will have to come up.
So you couldn't do the $22.90 with a 10% fuel charge?
No, I couldn't do that at this time.
When you said, Judge, that Karen,
Yes, sir.
did you reach out to other waste management services, nobody else is interested in it?
That's where we're at, so we're between a rock and a hard place.
I can't believe that.
I can't believe it either,
When you reach out to everybody around there?
Well,
We only have 4 major carriers that service our county in our area.
And y'all know,
In our area.
wanna make it, put a bid? They don't
Oh,
make-
well, we didn't
no one
put it
else,
out to.
they didn't bid on this one, and
They
then,
might
I
not
mean,
even seen it yet.
well, but one carrier is no longer gonna serve our area.
They're gonna pull out.
They're pulling out, and then, you know, we're not
Yeah,
missing
but doesn't have
names.
enough vehicles.
Another carrier is short on everything. Of course, that another carrier, might be the best option. But, you know, down the road, you know, the way I see it, the options we have potentially is like the Nelson County landfill. You know, and I don't know if Rumpke is checking into, you know, other landfills to cut costs. But again, you're creating everything, and by golly, we gotta have the garbage picked up January 1, you know, so.
Well, and in reality, then, if that's the way you're gonna look into it, we need to sign a 3-year deal, because if we sign a year contract, in a year, they're gonna come back with higher rates, guaranteed.
Well, I would say that we did,
Negotiate again.
And then we'll still end up paying more.
we still have the option, but the answer, that is, in that 1 year, I did go ahead and put in, optional renewals.
Yeah, I see
And
that.
I put a structured rate that was basically what we bid originally when we submitted the bid package.
And we're not trying to beat y'all dead. We understand you're in good defense and everything. We just,
Think about how many calls you get about the garbage.
yeah, yeah, I mean, honestly.
I also talked to Angie Muncy, who is the president of Kentucky Solid Waste. And she said for a rural community, you know, for a rural community, don't look me crazy. Actually, they're giving us some really good rates.
You probably got shares of numbers.
Rural would, I think I mentioned it in the last meeting, would be about double what it is, what we're charging here.
Well, I mean, y'all are based out of Louisville, you're going a little way from this, correct?
No, it's, actually it goes into at our Louisville transfer on Oak Street, and then it goes to Medora. We have a landfill we own that's in Medora.
Indiana.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes we might have some commercial trucks that might take some to the loop.
Yeah, so it'll give you a year to figure out what you wanna do.
But with that, y'all ain't look at that.
The first year's higher.
No, you look at it closely, with this one, we do got, we've got, say it being $3, if the goods are charged that one, that's nothing.
It's full grid. I mean, it does lower, so if it goes under the 3, it's a lower percentage.
But it's basically the fuel surcharge is on all the time.
That's gonna happen no matter
Well,
what.
I mean,
I know it is.
Pretty few people on all the time.
Yeah, it's still gonna be, yeah, pretty much it's still gonna be on.
Might as well be $1.
Well, and then,
The grid went to a lot of $1.85, where did it start at?
$1.85, I think, that was the beginning of it.
but that, I mean, that number, I didn't research
It's
it
3.
myself, but someone told me that number is only put together like either annually. They didn't even think it was put together quarterly.
Yeah, it's quarterly.
It is quarterly?
It is quarterly,
Okay.
yes. And with that, some municipalities, if it's like single bill where the municipality's paying the bill singly, then we can do that, adjust it monthly. But being that it's quarterly, then it is adjusted
So
quarterly.
that fuel grid changes quarterly as well? I mean, it should change daily, probably, what y'all are going on.
It does, but what they do is just to be
Average it out.
average it out, like maybe it's the last Tuesday of every month and just,
But they use, but just, the grid is based on that national number that's figured quarterly.
We'll figure that off of a quarterly basis to see that it's been over
Yeah.
for that quarter, that it's
But, you know,
remained over.
you figure at January 1 until April 1, it's gonna be that price.
Jim, let me see that paper.
Yes, it would be
For
that
example.
price. Yeah, because being billed quarterly, we couldn't adjust it
Right.
Right.
monthly, yeah.
So essentially this, they come with a quarterly average for the bill.
But I mean, with the election year coming up, we could have a chance of, I think there's been a good chance of getting below 350. But
Well,
$3 would be a little more.
my
challenge.
view on it is, I think that this 3-year plan that Chris has given us is probably the best we're gonna get. $3 a gallon on fuel. And, even though, I think you got us over a barrel, you really do. you know? And
Yeah, that's what I don't
I
like.
think it kinda stinks. Just my version of it.
Yeah, I wish I could explain it better as far as on my end, because Rumpke does, we do care about our municipality. We're a family-owned company, we're large, but we're a family-owned business, and they have their name on everything that's out there, and I know that they care. I know that I've felt like part of the family working for them. I've been there for 15 years, and when we do, our margins are all small margins. They're not just taking and trying to gouge pricing. I've never seen them ever do that. And I wish I could explain it better, but our costs drastically changed over that COVID period in the last 3 years. And, you know, I really don't want anyone to feel that way. It's definitely not what we're trying to do. But you know, it's those calls, you know, I can send those things out as far as those percentages. I think I did send one email out, but I understand. I know that it is a larger cost than we've ever faced before. And, you know, I would say, you know, look at our history that, you know, for many years, we served Spencer County, and we've not faced this, and we faced this with every municipality this past year.
I make a motion to approve this 3-year contract with Rumpke.
Let's make a motion too. I know you have a motion. We do need to rescind the rebid it probably before we make a motion.
I make a motion to rescind the rebidding of the waste removal.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Will, seconded by Mike, to rescind the previous motion at the previous meeting to rebid the garbage contract. Is there any discussion? So the motion is to rescind that motion to rebid. All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now,
I make a motion to accept the 3-year contract with Rumpke for waste removal.
all right, is there a second? I'll second it. Motion by Will, seconded by myself to approve the 3-year Rumpke contract service. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Yes.
on the recycling. Okay, will you guys, whatever department it is on there, you know, this would be what I would think I would have to do if I were in your position, is that if I were gonna try to get that 40% of people that want this service, that I would immediately, and you've got addresses for every customer that we've looked at in that grid, and say, look, here's what the charges are. It's voluntary, you can sign up for it and give them all that information. The truck will pick up every 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to separate it, we'll provide a can for you. But all of that, where the public will understand exactly what that recycling is.
Absolutely. That's our plan. We have, from that map that was in the bid packet, we have all those addresses. We'll send a mailer to every single resident. We'll send it to the council for you to review before we mail it out. And, we'll start putting that together. We'll be starting on it now.
You're aiming to start that immediately, and then possibly come April, you may roll out
Well,
the
we can
service.
start January if you want to, and we start working on trying to get a mailer put together to get it out the first, January. We got a tight time, but I can, I can do that, if you want to do it then. It's whichever one you prefer.
Yeah, but basically this bid includes the
The 3-year does include that we would do the
pickup,
recycling.
the recycling pickup.
Yes, now, and the fuel charge would also apply to that bill also.
Yes, it would.
And I think you probably need to explain that in your brochure you send out.
Yes, we'll have every detail that we put on there.
Any discussion?
I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna support this motion because,
We have no
we
choice.
don't have a choice at this point, and trash has to be picked up after December 31st. We have a lack of options, and I know that COVID is hard on everybody and businesses, but I'm so tired of hearing businesses 2, 3, 4 years later still trying to justify it through COVID. But,
Well, they probably made more money
in
during
business-
COVID than anybody.
in business, sometimes you have good years and sometimes you have bad years. And that's just business. I don't like it. you come in here and you want to do a big rate hike, say, well, you know, we encumbered other expenses. Well, you know, that's a lie. I don't like it at all, because they're just trying to maintain their same percentage margin, or the profit margin regardless. But we still have to get the trash picked up, and this is what we're left with, so that's,
I do understand that. I would like to say it with our situation is that we were under a term of several years, and we didn't come back during that time while it was happening. So when we're upside down, we were, as a business, like you said, we're carrying something that's going upside down, and waited till that it was the end. And when it did, we bid the rate that, as you say, you know, trying to be at the margin as a business that we try to do.
Well, I'm happy that we got that initial rate adjusted with this negotiation, where they were going to be the $24, and now it's $22. So initially, we are saving our customers $2 a month from what they initially liked, and then even in the next year, we've cut it down, and in the third year, they'll be where they intended to be. But anyway, we're taking a bite out of it. So I appreciate the back and forth negotiations that we've had. I mean, I think that's best business practice. So, but anyway, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll, please.
Judge Travis,
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Squire Cotton,
Yes.
Squire Stump,
yes.
Squire Stump, or Squire Ferris is absent, Squire Eldridge.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll get the documentation signed, and we'll be good to go.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is the propane contract. Our propane use is well under the 40,000. So we did check into that. We currently have propane from 2 local suppliers. Of course, Greenville's and Bennett's. Greenville's has a tank at the courthouse, and then Bennett's has the tanks everywhere else. I went and talked to both of them to try to get, you know, the best price and so forth with us. And they were around the, I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I'll give you the rough. Either $249 or $245 is where that they all wanted to be. But then if you pay a fee or you rented your tanks, you could get down to the $224, I think. And I wanted a better price, if at all possible. Did check with another company, and I think that was $216 or something. $219. But anyway, Bennett's came to me with a price of $209 or $209.99, something like that. And so anyway, I wanted to bring to you all to recommend that we would change all of the tanks to Bennett's we could lock in the price at $209. So I wanted to run that.
Is that
deal.
for the first year?
Well, that'd be for a year, yeah. And
I'll make that motion.
and I wanted to bring it to you guys.
We don't need a motion, do we? Or do we?
Yeah, we good.
And I'll make that motion that we use Dennis gas for the next year for all of our propane gas.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Will to trade with Bennett's on all of our propane needs for the next year. At the contract price of either the $209 or $209.99, whichever. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Greenville's, they only had the tank at the courthouse.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. While we're talking about this, you know, a few months ago, we talked about blacktopping that gravel lot and putting pickleball courts over it. I think it's a great idea for the community to have that. But if we're gonna move that tank, let's move that tank out of that parking lot. Where they've got it now, it sticks right out in the middle of that parking lot almost, you know, where we couldn't put a pickleball court there if we wanted to. You know, move that tank around back, there's a handicap spot there, we could put it and put a handicap spot somewhere else, take its place, and get that tank away from that parking lot, so when we do decide to do that, it's wide open.
Yeah, they mentioned about, see, right now we have a 500-gallon tank.
Need 1,000 gallons.
Needs a 1,000-gallon tank because that tank used like 3,800 gallon last year. So, you know, during the winter, I'm sure they're filling it pretty regular. Of course, luckily, the supply is just right here, up on the hill and out the road. But anyway, yes, to put a 1,000-gallon tank, and I believe it has to be at least 20 feet, maybe more, away from the building.
Could it be buried?
You have to you gotta buy your own underground tank to do that.
But I'm really confident that
They should supply, they've supplied me with underground tanks for years.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, so that's what all theirs in the ground.
I did too.
but
We'll
we'll,
do something to check it.
I will check into moving it, trying to move it around. See, they've got a 1,000-gallon tank by the jail that I don't think's used anymore.
If we had our own tank, we'd get it for $1.89.
Well,
Who owns that tank? So we check it.
it's Greenwood's tank.
So that's not being used?
I think so. It's not being.
There was an issue last administration, I forget what that was.
Right, behind the courthouse.
Yeah, there was an issue with that tank or the gas line or something, that's why the tank's moved up where they're at now.
Yeah, that's why they put it
Yeah.
in the tank.
We have underground leak in there.
Yeah, the temporary.
Well, I agree with Jim, we need to get the tank moved, and if we gotta put a new line in, and there ain't nothing to put a 75-foot line in.
Yeah, all right, but anyway, I
Move
will,
that tank out of that parking lot.
yeah, get it around back out of course, it's still gotta be out of the way.
Sure.
But I'll.
I put it back on there where the 1,000-gallon
Where the other
tank
tank is.
That's where I put it.
And lay a line to it.
Of course, have to cut the road,
Well, I mean,
get down the road.
Well, I know somebody, there's a local guy with a boring machine,
yeah.
you just have to shoot it under the road.
So, but I'll check into all that.
Okay, good.
All right, any other discussion on the motion to, trade with Bennett's on the gas? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next is, I'll make a motion to, go into executive session as per 61-810 letter F, discussion of hearings that might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of employees.
Second.
All right, motion by myself, second by Zach, go into executive session with the number, KRS number mentioned and letter. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right.
Hang on.
You're out of here.
You want me to wait for all of this meeting
Not like
after?
that here, do I move?
I'll come see you this afternoon.
Ah.
We'll talk this afternoon.
Okay.